on cardio equipment at the gym or at home. This has been a subject coming up in my office frequently, so here we are. The first one was low back pain sitting on an exercise bike, whether it be an upright bike or a recumbent one where your legs are out in front of you. Some of you, if you are on there for a long period of time, your back hurts. And sometimes your rear end hurts. So what we did with one woman is she said, I wanted to get up to 30 minutes. I'm working out my knees. I'm using it as rehab after surgery and so forth. But she said, by the time I get to 20 minutes, my back hurts. I thought about it for a moment. I said, ride 15 minutes, take a break, get off the bike, do a few of the stretches she's learned from me. You can do some twists, some side bends. I had her lie on the floor on a yoga mat. She did 10 knee rolls per side. We've talked about those many, many times in the show. It took her about a minute. She hopped back on the bike, rode another 15 minutes, and at the end she stretched. And I'll back up. She actually did the stretches before getting on the bike, rode 15 minutes, took a break for a minute, rode another 15-minute segment, did them at the end. She came in and said it worked perfectly. It was such a good thing. The next thing you can do just to break up the monotony of that is, if instead of doing 30 minutes or 45 minutes or 60 minutes on one cardio machine, is get off at an increment of time every 15 or 20 minutes, whatever it might be, and then just do some upper body weight exercises. You don't even need weights. I had her doing shoulder presses, but just doing a bunch of them without weights. She was doing curl maneuvers. You could do them with weights if you wanted to. She was doing tricep kickbacks. She was doing arm rows like this, and eventually she'll progress into either bands or light dumbbells. So that can add to your cardio opportunity, but also straighten out your spine and have your spine remove the stiffness from sitting there. Secondly was neck pain. So a lot of people are on their bike on the elliptical, in particular those machines, with their heads down, reading while they're doing their exercise. Totally fine, I totally get that. But they're getting neck pain. So a couple of things. Number one was getting books and reading materials up on a stand. So you're up a little bit higher like this. You don't have the head down like that. For one person, immediately fix that. Secondly is some people decide not to read any longer because that's going to promote them to be down. So they might be listening to audiobooks on a phone, something like that. Okay. Third is there's a lot of video screens on there and so forth. If you could watch something that would be thought-provoking as opposed to something else. Lastly, what some people are doing is if they are going to be reading for a while on something safer like a bike or elliptical, is they'll take a break and they'll stretch their neck back. Makes more sense on a bike, maybe not elliptical, maybe you actually have to stop doing what you're doing and take 10 seconds and do that neck stretch like that to undo the position you're in and then go back to it. Okay? The last thing I wanted to mention on this segment was the boredom of being on one piece of cardio equipment. This we've talked about a lot in my office. So what I suggest to people when they're getting back into it is that they look at walking on a treadmill as so boring to do for 30 minutes, and I'll say, well, how about walking 10 minutes on the treadmill, ride the bike for 10 minutes, and then be on the elliptical for 10 minutes after that. Now it's a 30-minute workout, but essentially you're changing every 10 minutes. Wonderful idea. It's worked for a lot of people. Well, the only glitch that we saw is on a busy time in a gym, not all machines will be available at all times. So then maybe you just figure it out. Oh, I was planning on going over here to that machine, then I'll go over here because it's available. So that would be something to get into. And we had talked about this before going on air of holding on a treadmill. You might need to actually do that because obviously there's been various accidents that people have undergone with certain cardio equipment, particularly the treadmill. So if you need to hold on, certainly do that. Runners are typically not going to do that on a treadmill, but there has been that. So obviously be safe and be smart as you make your decisions on what to do on cardio equipment. I'm Dr. Scott Fuller.